Hello class 10. Today I'm going to start with the two kinds of blood circulatory system in our body. I hope you all have heard about the double circulation system. Now in that double circulation system there are two parts. One is pulmonary and other is systemic. And because of this reason, because the blood is circulating twice the heart, so that is why we call it as double circulation. The pulmonary circulation pertains to the lungs. It starts in the pulmonary artery arising from the right ventricle, which soon divides into two branches that enter the respective lungs. Pulmonary veins collect the oxygenated blood from the lungs and carry it back to the left auricle of the heart. So the pulmonary circulation means something which is related to lungs, and from there the pulmonary artery carrying the deoxygenated blood to the lungs for purification, and after purification pulmonary veins are collecting it and getting it back to the left ventricle, left auricle. Now systemic circulation pertains to the major circulation in the body. It starts with the aorta and arises from the left ventricle. So it is actually distributing the pure form of blood to various parts of the body. The veins starting from the stomach and intestines do not directly convey the blood to the posterior vena cava. Instead, they first enter the liver as a combined hepatic portal vein. So you have to know what is hepatic portal vein, and there it breaks up into capillaries in contrast to the general characteristic of a vein, and a new vein called hepatic vein is formed by their reunion, which joins the posterior vena cava. So hepatic portal vein is getting divided into capillaries in contrast to the general characteristic of a vein, and the new vein which is arising from there, we call it as hepatic vein. Now another very important definition which you have to remember and which has came in your ICC number of times, that is a portal vein, which is one which starts with capillaries and also ends in capillaries. Okay. Now this chart is very important, that which blood vessels are entering the heart, which blood vessels are leaving the heart, blood vessels entering the liver, leaving the liver, entering the kidney and leaving the kidney. Very important. Now let's come to the pulse. Counting of the pulse is indirectly the counting of the heartbeat. I hope we all know that. We have read it in our childhood also, what is a pulse, what is a heartbeat. Now pulse is the alternate expansion and elastic recoil of the wall of the artery during ventricular systole. This is how you count it. So it is the alternate expansion and elastic recoil of the wall of the artery during ventricular systole. This is how you count it. So up to ventricular systole is your definition for pulse. Now what is blood pressure? Blood pressure is the pressure which the blood flowing through the arteries exerts on their walls. Now there are two limits of this pressure. The upper limit systolic pressure and the lower limit diastolic pressure. Normal blood pressure for adults is 100 to 140 mm and 60 to 80 mm. So 100 to 140 mm is systolic and 60 to 80 mm is diastolic. A rise in blood pressure above 140/90 is known as hypertension. A rise in blood pressure above 140/90 is known as hypertension. This you also have to remember. Tissue fluid. As the blood flows in the capillaries of the tissues, the plasma and the leukocytes leak out through their walls. This fluid bathes the cells and is called the tissue fluid or the intercellular or extracellular fluid. It is from this fluid that the cells absorb oxygen and other required substances and in turn give out carbon dioxide and other wastes back into it. Lymph, you know that the other medium other than blood in our circulatory system is the lymph. Some of the tissue fluid may be reabsorbed into the blood vessels, but most of it enters another set of minute channels named lymph vessels, where it is called lymph. The lymph flows in these vessels due to contraction of the surrounding muscles. This again is a beneficial effect of physical exercise. The lymph vessels on the way drain lymph into lymph nodes fresh lymph channels arise and ultimately pour the lymph into the major anterior veins close to their entry into the right auricle and is again in circulation. Composition of lymph: cellular part, only leukocytes because it is whitish in color, and non-cellular part, water 94% and other solids 6%. Functions of lymph: nutritive, supplies nutrition and oxygen to those parts where blood cannot reach. Drainage, it drains away excess tissue fluid and metabolites and returns proteins to the blood from tissue spaces. Absorption, fats from the intestine are absorbed through lymphatics. Defense, lymphocytes and monocytes of the lymph function to defend the body. So as you can see from the functions of lymph, one of the important function is defense because lymphocytes and monocytes are involved. Okay. Another thing which you have to remember is the drainage. It drains away excess tissue fluid and metabolites and returns proteins to the blood from tissue spaces. These two are the main functions of lymph. The lymph nodes tend to localize the infection and prevent it from spreading to the body as a whole. The tonsils on the sides of the neck are also lymph glands. Okay. This is one of the examples of the lymph glands or lymphatic systems constituents. Another very important part of our body is a large lymphatic organ known as spleen. We don't hear more about the spleen, but it is a very, very important lymphatic organ. It is reddish brown in color and situated, you have to know the location also, in the abdomen, behind the stomach and above the left kidney. This exact location is very important, behind the stomach and above the left kidney. What is the function? Why is it so important? This you have to remember, because it is acting like a blood bank in our body. In an emergency, suppose we have met an accident, hemorrhage has occurred, or some kind of stress is going on, or maybe carbon monoxide poisoning, which is very, very, very harmful and dangerous. The spleen releases the stored blood into the bloodstream. So it is a blood bank or blood reservoir, which is a natural one. Okay. It produces lymphocytes. Again, that means it has also got an immunological aspect. It destroys the worn out red blood cells, and in an embryo, spleen produces RBCs. Okay. So there are 4 functions of spleen, and all the 4 functions are very, very important. Okay. Okay students, so I think I have completed with your syllabus. So it was the last chapter which I wanted to recapitulate. Other than this, we are done with all the chapters which is there in the revised syllabus of ICSE this time. So I hope again, if there will be any problem regarding any part of the chapter, you will come up with that in the comment box. And also class 10, I want to convey to all of you that from the next week, Tuesday onwards, I'm going to take your virtual classes. So if anybody of you have any problem regarding any chapter, you can ask me in my class. And another thing which I want to convey it all to you, that is I'll send you the link maybe before 5 minutes of the class, and I hope all of you will join me through that link and attend my virtual class. Okay, so thank you.